Today we will be discussing tips and tricks of effective oral presentations. In academia, oral presentations are a common way in which ideas are shared. This can look like sharing papers and academic work at conferences or seminars, etc. For that reason, developing oral presentation skills is very important for anyone in an academic trajectory. Some of the objectives of oral presentations are as follows: to clearly and concisely relay scholarly projects, to utilize multiple modes to communicate research and results, and to share scholarship with other academics and contribute to the collective knowledge. When broken down to their conventional components, effective oral presentations will have a lot in common with an effective paper and will often be structured like an essay. For example, this speech outline reflects the main components of most academic essay structures. The intro contains three main components: first, the purpose, then the thesis, and finally, an attention-getting device. The main body of the presentation contains however many main points are necessary. Each main point should have something like a subpoint 1, subpoint 2, then a transition. This structure will be repeated for additional main points. In the conclusion, there should be a summary, a restatement of the central claim, then the orator can end with impact, something that allows them to connect with the audience. One of the differences between a paper and an oral presentation, of course, is that your audience won't be reading your presentation, but they will be listening to it. Because of that, effective use of transition cues are crucial. Transition phrases like "my final point" or "in conclusion" are totally fine. Now, if you're going to use visual aids like a PowerPoint, then the visual aid will provide visual transition cues, and your verbal ones may need to be more stylistic or creative. Speaking of visual aids, things like slide presentations can be very helpful to guide your audience through the speech and help emphasize important points. It is important to make sure your visuals are concise and coherent. You don't want to copy and paste an essay and put it on slides. The visual aid should contain the pared down essential pieces of the presentation. Do not include any unnecessary or distracting features that draw attention away from the content. Academic work will necessitate the incorporation of ideas from other scholars, and speakers have the responsibility in an oral presentation to give those scholars credit. It is just as important in a speech as it is in an essay. Now, during the oral presentation, speakers must verbally use the full names of authors and the titles of their work. Reference this information when paraphrasing and when quoting. Be sure when quoting to say it verbatim. In the visual aid, you will provide in-text citations and a work cited at the end of the presentation. Presentations should be relayed in a conversational manner, and speakers should use a natural tone of voice and body language. Don't be afraid to slow down and take long breaths between points. The content should be communicated clearly and concisely. Professionals maintain good posture and make occasional eye contact with the audience. Using a natural tone and moving around in the space can help you engage with the audience. Use natural gestures to emphasize important points. It should be comforting to know that public speaking is the #1 phobia among American adults, above death, heights, and spiders. So if you're nervous, you're not alone. Being prepared and practicing can help a great deal with alleviating stress. When rehearsing lines for a play, actors try to know the lines so well that they don't have to think about them to recall. This muscle memory can help so much with feeling comfortable in front of an audience. Also, record yourself. This will help you know which areas of the presentation you need to practice more. Dress appropriately. What is appropriate will often depend on the situation, but no matter what, try to also dress comfortably. If you feel professional and comfortable, this can also help with anxiety. Try not to read off note cards or a paper. If you can, try to be conversational. And last but not least, remember, your audience is rooting for you, and so are we. You got this. If you would like some help building out a presentation or you want the chance to practice it before it is due, please feel free to book a consultation with Noel Studio. We have the presentation rooms where you and a consultant can talk through and practice your presentation as many times as you need to feel confident. See you soon.